All right, good day, folks. Everything new under the sun. We are in trouble. This is, I would say, this is a high alert sort of a video. You need to be paying attention. You need to understand what happened and what is happening, because these things can turn on a dime. World War III can start in no time. Well, I think we're in the middle of World War III, but the declaration of such or the escalation of such could happen at any time. The Middle East is descending into chaos. You have the Dow Jones down 500 points today, and lots of trouble. You have oil reaching heights. You have gold hitting really high values. Here is gold. Now it's down $10, but it's up at $2,300 per ounce. Look how much silver is. It was maybe 6-7 years ago when it was $15 US an ounce for silver, almost double the value of that. That's absolutely incredible. It is now in Canada. It's about $40 per ounce to get a silver coin. And why? Why is the price of gold and silver increasing? Well, generally speaking, as inflation increases, as the value of each and every dollar you have in your pocket, if you have cash anymore, every day the value of that decreases. So it requires more of your dollars to purchase the same amount of gold or silver. The real intrinsic value of gold or silver doesn't really change. Silver and gold really are useful in so many manufacturing things. Solar panels have a lot of silver in them. Computer chips have a lot of gold in them, and silver and other metals. And so they're very valuable. But the price of gold over time doesn't change a huge amount. The actual purchasing power of that ounce of gold, they always say with an ounce of gold, 100 years ago, you could buy a real nice suit and a nice pair of shoes. These days, with that same ounce of gold, you can buy a real nice suit and a nice pair of shoes. You're talking a real good suit, a real good high quality suit, but you can buy generally the same amount of goods or services with them as the value of the dollar decreases. And that's what it's going to do. Remember, the Federal Reserve is inflating the money supply. That's on purpose. That's how this debt-based system works. When inflation stops, that's when the music stops, and you got to sit down in a chair, otherwise you're out of the game. Stacking gold and silver, I wasn't going to start with that, but let's take a look at what is happening with the world right now and why oil is surging. This is Zero Hedge. Oil surges over $90. And in Canada, the carbon tax just came into effect April Fool's Day, April 1st, and we're paying a lot more for gas now. What's that going to do? That's going to suppress the whole economy. They think it's going to solve climate change, but what it's going to do is destroy our economy. We're going to drive less. We're going to buy less. We're going to go on vacation less. We're going to do a lot of things less because we just simply don't have the money to do it. So it actually destroys our economy to put tax on fuel. And then, I won't even get into what I think about climate change. I think the Earth is warming, as it has been since the Ice Age, which happened just after the flood of Noah. The Earth is getting warmer up, and it will continue to get warmer right up until the Lord returns, or it's returned back to its equilibrium the way it was prior to the flood. Prior to the flood, the Earth was tropical all around. Now, there was a water canopy, and there's different situations going on there, but generally speaking, the Earth has been a lot warmer in the past all around. Look at the trees and the forests that are up underneath the Arctic permafrost. You can just Google that. You'll see it. So we're not in any danger zone in terms of the climate. It's doing what God designed it to do. It's getting back. There's checks and balances with these things. All right, I'm getting off on tangents, but oil surges. Why? Because Israel is putting embassies around the world on alert. Israel struck an Iranian embassy, killing an IRGC commander. It was a precision strike with apparently 6 F-35s, which is interesting. But now embassies around the world are worried that maybe Israel's going to strike another Iranian embassy. And there was kind of a gentleman's agreement, if you will, which I don't know why that's a thing in this day and age with asymmetric warfare and guerrilla warfare. But there was a gentleman's agreement that you don't strike embassies, right? They're neutral ground like Switzerland, whatever it may be. But when your enemy is fighting asymmetrically via proxy, I don't think there are rules of war anymore. At that point, anything goes. U.S. gas price hits highest level in 6 months amid speculation Biden will drain more oil from the petroleum reserve. What was the petroleum reserve meant for? Well, it was meant for taking the nation through a crisis, whether that be a world war or some major natural disaster which took out oil refining capacity. That's what that's for. And Biden's been draining it. And he hasn't been able to fill it because the price of oil and gas has increased. So is the U.S. ready for war? They are absolutely not. Is Russia for war? Yeah, they're on a full war economy right now, creating, manufacturing weapons, ammunition as fast as they can. Meanwhile, the West is tossing all their old artillery and ammunition shells, etc., to Ukraine, but they're not really replacing it with that much modern ammunition or weapons of war, simply because our economies are not set up that way right now. Some of our taxpayer dollars are going towards military, but in terms of world war, they're not. And so Russia is really in a much better position. And the politicians come out and say Ukraine is winning, and I don't think they are. And the West, they're going to take us to World War III. We're already in it. They keep pushing, and there's no talks for peace. Have you heard anybody talk about peace? This is a big deal here. You can see that image. That's GPS signal scrambling. IDF at war. Israel scrambles GPS signal as Iran revenge attack is imminent. So Iran came out. Of course, our embassy was hit. They're full of a lot of rhetoric. I think they're probably full of a lot more hot air. They're not going to come out as a country against Israel because that means Israel would then, because Iran threw the first real punch from their nation, that means Israel could then go after Iran proper, the nation, the land of Iran. Well, Iran doesn't want that, so they're going to use their proxy forces to hit back at Israel. They're too afraid to hit Israel. With ever-present fears, Tehran could launch a missile or drone attack against Israel to avenge the deaths of 3 commanders and 4 officers of the Iranian armed forces, taken out by a precision Israeli airstrike on the Iranian embassy compound in Damascus. Remember, Isaiah 17 talks about Damascus, specifically the destruction of Damascus. That is a Bible prophecy yet to be fulfilled, and we are nearing that point right now. The Middle East is boiling right now. You talk about Ezekiel 38, the hook in the jaw. What's it going to take for a nation like Russia, Turkey to say, that's it, Israel? You can't hit Damascus. You can't hit the Iranian embassy. You can't hit any embassies. We're going after you now. And that hook in the jaw, I think it's being set, folks. It's going to draw those nations, Iran, Russia, Turkey, already have an alliance, a military alliance, and what's it going to take for Iran to say, that's it, we're calling in our agreement for the alliance, let's go after Israel. I think people are, I think those nations are just waiting for Israel to do something big enough where they can say, okay, that's it, we're going all in. Journalists and Tel Aviv residents said GPS service deteriorated. And this is why you can't rely on your cell phone for direction finding, GPS, and these sorts of things, because when World War III happens, that piece of equipment is not going to do you any good. Get a paper map, because when things go sideways, when World War III starts in earnest in the West, the first thing they're going to take down are communications, and part of that communications is GPS. All GPS signals, or even the satellites, will be taken out via an electromagnetic pulse, whatever it may be. And airlines won't fly, planes won't fly because, unless they're using a paper map. Now, I'm a pilot, and we were trained on paper maps, but most pilots rely on the computers on those planes now. So a lot of planes are not going to be in the sky. People, there's not enough maps. They haven't been making enough maps. People are rusty using maps. So don't rely on GPS, cell phone, any electronics, for World War III, because it may not work. It's going to be jammed, so there you go. Who was the GPS network created by? Well, the American military. What does Russia have? Well, they have their own version of the GPS system, global positioning system. They call it GLONASS, I think, in Russia. So they can jam ours, GPS, what the rest of the world, the Western countries of the world, and really, most nations around the earth, around the world use GPS. But Russia does have their own, so that they can take out the GPS system and have their own system working. This is data from GPS interference website. GPS Jam shows large swaths of Israel have high levels of GPS interference. So if you're far away from your house, you may want to map in your car so that you can be sure you know how to get home if you don't, for whatever reason, know how to get home. The other good thing to do is just not get very far from home so you know how to get home. And by the way, if you drive your car every day to work, do you know how to get home from work by walking? You may be surprised, but when you're walking a route, it looks a lot different than when you're driving a route. So you may find yourself confused when you all of a sudden have to start walking home from the city out to the sticks, wherever you live. You may find that it's a little bit more difficult to find your way. Just a warning to you. And terror attacks in Iran. Iran rocked by overnight terror attacks as gunmen leave 11 dead, including an IRGC officer. Now, was this, they're suspected Sunni militants, and they were killed during the assaults. Did someone put them up to this? Was this, a Mossad operation to take out some more folks in Iran? Or are there simply other factions in Iran, the folks that don't like the existing Iranian government, such as most of the population? Is it them that are going in and doing this? So, but this is just going to make Iran even more fearful of what's going on, go into a more ready state of a war, and the world thinks we're going to war too. You look at the markets here; they see the trouble in the Middle East even more so than Ukraine, Russia. They see the trouble in the Middle East as a problem, and that's why the Dow has now it's up to 529, top left corner there. You can see that, and gold it has been increasing the last 6 months. It's down a little bit now, a little bit of a pullback, but it's still significantly higher than it was, as is silver. So you need to be watching this. Here is the oil charts from CNBC. Oil is up $86.51. A U.S. Barrel of Brent crude is $90.67. The second box there, up top left corner. And again, this is going to make everything more expensive. This is going to drain your resources more. As we head into World War III economic collapse, it's not going to be a quick collapse where all of a sudden the merry-go-round's going to stop, the music will stop, you're left with all your jerry cans full of gas, and then you ration them out. No, it's going to be a slow drain. It's going to be a slow drain to where you don't have enough money, so you start dipping into your reserves, you start using your reserves of gas, of food, whatever it may be, and then you don't have enough money to refill them. So it's going to be a slow drain, death by 1,000 cuts, where if you could start off a light turning on and off, and you had all your preps done 100%, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're in Mad Max, well, then you can ration those out, and that you've started. But with this slow death of the West and the Western economies, it's going to be that slow drain where you're just going to have to use your resources because you've got nothing left. And you'll use them up literally until you have nothing left, until you're probably homeless and helpless and without food, etc. So you need to do everything you can really at this point in time to stockpile. Times are relatively good right now. But note what's happening as it comes to April 8th, the eclipse. A bunch of states and locations in Canada as well are declaring emergencies. Emergencies are now the new thing. It's commonplace. They're normalizing emergencies, which is unlawful and unprecedented. But the public doesn't care. We went through the pandemic. It's almost like people are interested to see emergencies because they lack excitement in their lives, and there's no interest seemingly to keep governments accountable for this. Why are these things emergencies at this point in time? It's crazy. So be prepared, folks. Trouble on the markets. Oil going up. Gold going up, and major strikes in the Middle East means, World War III could start at any time. May not start for 6 months or 3 years. But on the other hand, it may start in the next 5 minutes. You don't know that, and that's why you need to be prepared today.